December meeting to order. A salute to the flag, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, let's get started this evening. We have approval of our prior town board minutes from our November 3rd meeting. Any corrections, comments? Motion to move.
Motion to approve.
Second. Take your pick. Bob or Chris, either one. All in favor?
Give it to Todd.
Aye, opposed, carried.
I'm sorry, I thought Chris made the motion.
Sort of.
All right.
He was a little louder than I was.
Okay.
It was about the same time.
Okay, Mary, town clerk report, please.
Okay. Town clerk's report for November 2014. Dog licensing, $2.50. Building permits, $350. Certificates of occupancy, $100. Town clerk fees for decals, hunting license, $8.22. Vital statistics, $50. Foil copies, $3. Total check for the general fund, $513.72. Trust and agency for escrow, $132, and for inspection fees, $350. Total check for trust and agency, $482. Paid to New York State Ag and Markets for dog surcharges, $1. Paid to New York State decals for hunting licenses, $140.78. Total for the month, $1,137.50.
Motion to accept the clerk's report.
So moved.
Second.
Take your pick. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Right on target.
Carried. Okay, Mary, mail review. Thank you.
First, a reminder, the annual Village Green Christmas Caroling event will be held on Wednesday, December 10th, starting at 6 o'clock with caroling at St. Luke's Church next door to the town hall. And then moving on over to the community house where Santa will be there, and there will be refreshments, and that should end around 7.
What's the date again?
December 10th, Wednesday. And we have a memorandum from the county treasurer, P.J. Keeler Jr. The county is now accepting credit and debit transactions for delinquent taxes. This is only if delinquent taxes are payable to the Columbia County treasurer. So only for delinquent, it wouldn't be anything that our tax collector would be collecting on. It's just for delinquent taxes. So credit or debit. And you could always call them if you have any questions, 518-828-0513. And that is all.
So just to clarify that one more time, our tax collector for the town will not be accepting credit cards or debit cards. This is only once it goes delinquent to the county, they will have the opportunity to accept credit cards at that point. Thank you, Mary.
Okay.
Correspondence to the web committee. Do we have any recommendations, comments, questions, updates?
Nothing came in.
Came in? Okay, very good. All right, move on to committee reports. Bob?
Yeah, just a couple things. Just want to mention that I did get together with John Feeser to go over occupancy for the various rooms and buildings that we have here at Community House. Well, first of all, there's criteria from the state depending on whether there's tables in the rooms or whether they're fixed chairs or movable chairs and that. So, and based on square footage. So I had measured, John had measured another time, and we got together and remeasured a couple of them and went over it. And we came up with in the community house, first floor would be 34, second floor is 140. Town hall meeting room, this room is 100. The courtroom would be 36, and St. Luke's Church would be 108. And if you want, I'll look into getting some signs made for that. I don't know, do we need a motion for that, or, I mean, if they turn out to be real expensive, I'll come back to the board, but I shouldn't think it would be.
Under $500, I'm sure it's only gonna be probably less than $100.
Yeah, probably, yeah. The other thing I wanted to mention was the fire that took place down at the corner of Pleasantville Road and Route 9, the woodworking building that burned. Most of you have probably seen that or know about it. But I was there right at the beginning. As I turned into Pleasantville Road, I could see smoke. I thought maybe it was burning wet wood, but then I saw a little bit of flame coming through around the smoke pipe coming out, because it started with a wood stove and the smokestack. And I went around the corner to let them know, and Brian was already on the phone to 911. And they had 5 fire companies there, and they worked very well together. I mean, they need to be complimented. It was Clermont, Livingston, Germantown, Red Hook, and Tivoli. And actually, there was one member from Hillsdale. He was the first one on the scene. He was going by in his truck, and he had his turnout gear in the truck, so he was there for a while as well. And they had tankers running. I mean, there was a tanker there emptying into their pool almost constantly, running back and forth. And Livingston had their ladder truck down where they could spray water from the top also. And it was impressive to see the cooperation, which is, I mean, we don't have that many of that kind of structure fires, but it's the first one I've seen recently that our guys have been working on.
Good.
So I just want to compliment all 5 fire companies.
Very nice. Good. Yep. Evan, you have anything you want to update on?
Nothing.
Okay. We do have a computer that was brought in by Dawn to take a look at it, and ask maybe you and Chris to take a look at it after the meeting real quick. It is here. So you guys can check that out and see what's the matter with that. Chris, do you have anything to update?
No, nothing more later.
All right. Okay, just an update on a bunch of stuff here. Old business. I know I'm sorry I didn't take the bridge update off the list. I have it on here for one last time. I just figured we finished the year with this, but no, I have a little bit of information to update everyone out. At the last Public Works Committee, I asked the committee to authorize me to use the county resources to follow through with the offer we received for donation of land for a turnaround on our Clermont side. So I have the authorization of the county committee to use the county attorney, the county engineer, the county highway department to get the piece of land that was offered to us by Mr. Finger for a turnaround area, and to use the engineering department and the highway department for the construction of the turnaround area. So this will not be a cost to the town. This is something I argued that the town should not incur an expense because the county decided to close the bridge. It should not be our expense, which it will not be. We'll work with in coordination with our highway department to make sure it's what we want for a turnaround, but basically on the county's dime. So, and that's the way it should be, since again we incurred this expense because of them closing a county bridge. So I do have that authorization. I will be working that on in the next several months. Probably won't obviously take place till spring, but we'll have everything in place, get the deed transfers, figure out what we're doing, how we're going to construct it, and get this underway. So it's something I do want to keep moving so we can get the the services back to make it easier for the plowing on that side of the road. Our side, the Clermont side, is very difficult for the plow trucks to turn around. School buses will not go down there because there's not a turnaround. So this will hopefully alleviate those problems with getting a turnaround put in there. So that will be the last time I update on the bridge for a while. I promise on that.
So there'll be no bridge, is that?
The bridge will not be opened.
Done deal.
Done deal. Unless
Finito.
20, 30 years from now they feel there's a need for it, but as of right now, it's not on the list. It's taken.
Or unless enough people send letters to the county and tell them how they feel about it.
Sounds like it's not happening.
Sounds like it's not happening. So, I won't give up on it, but at this time, it's not going to happen anytime in the near future. So it's time to get a turnaround put in for our side to let's use. Brownfield funding update. I brought this up last month. I just want to renew it. We do have the application was finalized. Our attorney Andy Howard finalized the needs of the updated application. and he did get it in. Now we're still waiting in to find out if there is funding available, if we are eligible for some of that funding, if we're chosen to be funded. So there's not going to be an update on that until they make a decision on who's getting some of this money. So just want to let everybody know it is completed, it is in. We're waiting once again to see if there's money available. New business, I want to set the year-end meeting for the town to finalize the final year-end bills. I'd like to do it on Monday the 29th, December 29th at 7 p.m. And again, that will be a regular town board meeting to finalize the year-end business. So December 29th, 7 p.m. Town board vacancy, last month we said we had, we obviously talked about a vacancy on the town board. We put out there 2 months ago for interviews. If people were interested to let us know, we'd certainly set up interviews and meet with the people interested. We had 2 people interested in the position. We interviewed both of them. We came, had a lot of discussion on this. We had 2 very good candidates, and we came to a collective agreement that, we decided to go with Dawn Bronson to appoint her for the following year term until next election. It will be from January 1st through December 31st of next year. And that position is up for election next November. So obviously that position will be filled for the year, but will be up for election following year. It should be next November. So I'd like to ask for a motion on.
Yeah, I move that we appoint Dawn Bronson effective January 1st until the next election.
I'll second.
And I'd like to also reiterate, as Ray said, there were 2 good candidates that we had. And for me, it was a tough decision because I know both of them very well, and they're both very dedicated and good people. What I think tipped it for me is one of the things that Eddie had responsibility for and working with Mary Howard had done most of the work was grants. And I know Dawn's had a lot of experience with grants. And also I think we do need a little bit of help in getting more volunteers. And I know Dawn's had a lot of experience with motivating volunteers in other areas. So I think that will be a good fit also.
Okay. Well, I'll certainly echo your feelings, and like I said, we certainly had a long discussion on this, but I think that Dawn will do great in this position. And again, it's up for election next November, but the appointment for the next year. A motion, a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, mortgage tax revenue. Just want to update everybody on the mortgage tax. We just received the last, the second payment. It's a biannual payment. It was $12,960 was our mortgage tax for the second 6 months of the year. It's about $15,000 total under budget, which we budgeted for the year. So we did fall short on our mortgage tax estimation. It's no surprise throughout the entire county, the mortgage tax has been very, very low. The county in the whole is, I believe, close to almost $750,000 short on mortgage tax throughout the county. So it's not just our town, but we certainly missed that by a little bit. But our sales tax revenue more than makes, the increase in sales tax revenue more than makes up for that. So I did a quick analysis of our reports, went through all the numbers. My best estimate, it looks like we're going to be, when all said and done, revenues compared to expenses, I believe we're going to be approximately $55,000 unexpended this year, or over what we thought we were going to be. So as far as what we budgeted to come out of our budget for fund balance, which was, I think, 60-some thousand, we're only going to be taking roughly $13,000 out for this year. So all said and done, we're in very good shape, I think, for the year. It's a combination of lots of expenses, some extra revenues. It all adds up to where we're going to actually take barely nothing out of the bank, which is great. So next year, hopefully, we can continue this. So I think we're in pretty good shape overall for the year. Again, it's an estimate, but I think we'll know better, obviously, by the end of the year here next month. So I think it's encouraging anyway. The county budget, I just want to mention on the county budget, I've had someone ask me, what's the county budget look like for this year? It's very sad to say that it's December 1st, and I have to say I have not a clue. I'm very disappointed with the county once again this year with their budget practices. I have not seen, other than the couple of budgets that I am on the committees for, any of the numbers, and neither is 99% of the supervisors. They have a meeting set up for the 15th to review the budget, which gives us a whole whopping 1 week to make any questions and decisions and changes to this budget. So there used to be years, for several years I was on a committee, we all sat down, we reviewed the county budget, went through all the numbers line by line, questioned departments, made adjustments, and there was a dozen supervisors that were very familiar with the entire county budget. This year, there's probably 3 supervisors that have any idea what's in that budget so far. Very discouraging, and I'm just totally disgusted with the process. So I would like to say I'd have some numbers hopefully by the 15th, but again, I don't know when I'll have those numbers for anybody to review, or to at least explain what's going on with the county budget this year. Okay, that being said, we have a couple budget transfers. I passed out a resolution, Mary passed out a resolution, Resolution 44, 2014. This is nothing more than moving a couple numbers around to balance a few of our line items. Whereas it's necessary to make budgetary transfers to balance the accounts in the general fund, be it resolved, the supervisor be and hereby is authorized to make the following budget transfers to the general fund accounts. Decreasing appropriation A 7110.42 brownfields, $1,372. Increase appropriation A 9010.8 state retirement, $1,372. Decrease appropriation A 1990.4 contingency, $502. Increase appropriations to A 9050.8 unemployment, $502. And decrease appropriation A 1990.4 contingency, $251.95. And increase appropriation A 5182.4 street lighting, $251.95.
Question on state retirement, is that because it went up this year, we didn't budget enough, or is that?
Yes, yeah, we had a shortfall on what we had budgeted.
Okay, and basically Brownsville, we haven't spent any out of that.
We haven't spent anything. No.
Okay.
So I just took money out of available accounts to balance out this couple shortfalls.
Okay, so moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Who was the second? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Carried. I'll sign the copy. Okay, supervisor report. I don't have a ton to update people on this month. The courthouse has been dedicated to, went through a dedication a couple weeks back. I went and attended that. It was very, very nicely attended. It's beautiful. I think the job came out really nice. I encourage anybody that has the opportunity to take a tour to go take a look at it. There's a lot of money spent in this building, but the time and details that were put into it were very nice. I mean, I think it came out very nice. And that's about all I can say. I mean, it really was it was much needed, and it really looks architecturally correct for what it is. So, Pine Haven, we have. I don't have a lot to update on this either. Pine Haven, we put out a bid for privatizing the nursing home. From what I'm told is we received 3 bids for purchase of the home. We received them, I guess, a month ago, and as of yet, not a single supervisor have seen them. Again, this is something that I don't understand. This should be passed out to all supervisors for review. We have a meeting set up after our budget hearing on the 15th to interview the 3 firms that bid on the Pine Haven. We're supposed to be able to ask questions and go through these bids. I would hope they'd provide these ahead of time so we'd have a little time to look at them, prepare questions, and have an educated discussion with the people that are bidding on this. But like I said, as of now, we have not seen them. I spoke to several supervisors as late as today. Nobody else has received anything on them as well. So again, I think there's a handful of people that may know what's going on, but it's certainly not the majority of the supervisors. So I'll update everybody as soon as I can get some answers and let everybody know where we stand with this. Department of Health, there's been a lot of discussion, a lot of panic, I would say not panic, but a push for a plan for an Ebola virus outbreak. All the counties, I think, with everything that happened, really jumped on this. Our Department of Health has went through an extensive plan to put in place and coordinate with the emergency services for any such outbreak. I think they've done a great job, and I just wanted to compliment them on taking this and putting a plan in place that if we ever have something like that in Columbia County, we certainly are prepared for it, and we do have a plan in place. So if anybody's interested in that, they could certainly go on the Department of Health website and pull the plan off, but I just wanted to mention that because they've done a lot of work on that, which hopefully we'll never have to worry about, but they are prepared for it. Other than that, I don't really have a lot else. Unless somebody else has questions on it, they can talk to me after the meeting, but there's not a whole lot more I can update this month. I just want to mention the Election Day dinner. I want to thank the Village Green Committee for putting on the dinner and doing a great job. I was unable to come out for the dinner, but I did take takeout and enjoyed the dinner at home. But I know they did a fantastic job. I heard a lot of people that were happy with it, and I thank all the volunteers and everybody for all the work they've done towards, especially Tammy who coordinated this and once again put it together. Also want to thank the Election Day workers. I mean, they certainly, very difficult day. I mean, it's a long day for several individuals, and I want to thank them for the, all the hard work. Certainly, Ron was here, and there's certainly a lot of time goes into those long days, and appreciate their help again for pulling off an election with no real issues. So I mean, it was great. Thanks to them, to everybody that worked on Election Day. And just to recap on, Mary mentioned the holiday party for the Wednesday night, December 10th, from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. We'll have the holiday caroling in the church, and Santa will be next door. Hope we get a good turnout. Everybody that can attend will be here. And also want to mention the Clermont Firehouse on the 9G side is going to have their Christmas party December 13th, which is Saturday, and theirs is from 6 o'clock to 8 p.m. The doors open at 6. I know they have entertainment. I believe they have a magician or something coming at 7, and I believe Santa's there around 7:30, 8 o'clock. Again, that's a nice thing for the kids to go to, so anybody that's available can go. 6 to 8 p.m. December 13th, Saturday night. And last but not least, just want to mention the highway guys. The highway department, I want to thank them for obviously taking care of this last storm. They did a great job like usual, and I want to thank them for their help around putting all the holiday lights up. I mean, anybody that came in tonight saw the lights are up, and every year they take care of decorating and taking down the decorations, so I want to thank them for their efforts and for everything they do around here. Other than that, I guess that's it. No motion to pay abstracts.
Make a motion that we pay the general abstract. Number 12. And claim number 316 through 338 for the amount of $17,125.55.
Second. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
A highway abstract number 12, vouchers number 127 through 140, in the amount of $22,586.11.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. One last thing I did forget to mention, we have our renewal policy for our town insurance. They just gave that to me today, as a matter of fact. I picked this up. And what I'd like to do, first let me mention the actual policy went down about $28 from last year. So it's actually a decrease a little bit, which is great. What I'd like to do is request that our insurance provider, Mr. Finger, come in to our year-end meeting and give a quick presentation, because he also put in a little breakdown here, which he wanted us to consider. He thought we should consider maybe possibly raising up our theft policy, or criminal crime coverage. He wanted us to consider putting an extra $1 million blanket on our crime coverage blanket. And I says, well, we should probably maybe have him come in and just go over this, explain why he thinks we should do it. It would increase our policy premium another $536. So I'm certainly not against doing this, but I'd like to have him come in and just present it, unless we can ask him some questions, go over with him, and then we can just run through the whole policy real quick. So I'm going to ask him to come in at their year-end meeting on the 29th to do so. This is a bill for next year, we already paid this year, so I just wanted to mention that. So we'll request him to come in at the year-end meeting. And I think this will do every year. I think we've done it every year. Okay, that being said, public comment, questions, communications. Mr. Towsey.
What killed the bridge?
Watch last week's tape.
You should have come to last month's meeting. What killed the bridge? There was a discussion at the committee that there's several bridges throughout the county that need work. And they're prioritizing the rest of the county, saying that this is a very, very low priority bridge, and they didn't think it was necessary, even though Germantown, Clermont, Livingston boards say it's necessary, the fire districts say it's necessary. And 2 months ago, the whole committee said it was necessary, but several of them changed their votes, and they're saying that they don't believe it's as much as a priority as other bridges to be fixed. That's the politically correct answer. If you'd like the other one, talk to me after.
Or watch last week's.
Or watch last week's tape. Mr. Mullins. Yeah, well, sit there.
I have made some notes, so
Oh, you got 3 minutes.
I have 3 things. Is it a 3-minute limit?
A minute per
You're really good with that.
Okay. Another cat died on my road there. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I didn't.
People go by at very high speeds. I wish my bridge wasn't fixed because I wanted to have we don't even end up with a cul-de-sac there because we have a connection through to Pleasant Vale Road. But the traffic was much more manageable when there weren't people coming from out of the area going at very high speeds. Somebody hit a cat in front of my house, never stopped, kept going. About an hour later, somebody came by, probably the owner, I don't know who it was, picked it up. I was trying to reach Desiree, I don't know where she was, I wasn't able to get through to her at the time. But with the snow, the road gets even narrower, especially at that S-curve. There are people walking. Today, there were a couple of girls, a couple of young women were jogging. So there are people who use the road. And I've mentioned before, it's a dangerous place. I really wish, I mean, it's not my wish that something happens that's a problem there, but it's dangerous. And somebody, I think, should at least verify that the signs for speed limit make sense, because they don't really to me. And there certainly is enough police presence further down the road that if anything untoward occurred, there could be law enforcement response rather quickly. The other thing that I wanted to mention was, and I've raised this before, the leaves are down off the trees. I happened to drive to Boston over the weekend. Pass through, it's east of Springfield. I've mentioned it before on the Mass Turnpike. There's a major solar farm there. I've spoken to people. There are ways that they can install photovoltaic panels through contaminated earth, say next door here, without disturbing, well, they disturb it, but in a way that's like acceptable. So my suggestion is that a simple request for opinion, request for information, there are enough companies out there who will do the study for nothing and propose something to the town. Either my initial thought was it could be a lease deal where the town leases the ground to somebody for on a 20-year basis, shares in the revenue stream if there's anything happening like that. But certainly, I know there's a proposal out there and some funds in the budget for dealing with brownfields and remediation. What are we going to do on the remediated land? We'll have to spend money to get something there. If there's a way to get a public benefit, it might be worth at least asking the question. Part two is, yeah, the laws in New York State don't really angle in that direction. The laws in Massachusetts do. We don't live there today. Maybe it comes up, the conclusion being that there are recommendations that can be made to our state representatives or some government body to say, hey, we could do this, gain some revenue, and lower our tax basis, or maybe the money goes to the school departments or whatever. But the question I have is it a missed revenue opportunity? Forget about it, solar panels. Is it a missed revenue opportunity? So maybe somebody could just do a simple like RFI or something like that, or interest information. I'm sure there's a legal firm out there that would look into it. But, you know, basically on the assumption that perhaps if there's work in the future, they'd get the contract. Or be able to bid on it.
It's funny you brought that up because we just had a solar presentation in the county from 3 firms talking about putting up a massive solar farm to offset the county electric.
Yes.
And they pretty much don't want to put up something that produces extra energy. They put up what you can use for, like if the Clermont want to put this up, net metering they call it.
You get like 10% or something over a theoretical number that's the maximum you're going to use.
But there is farms that come in, pay for all, you basically lock in a rate that you pay them so much for electric for 20 years, and
Right.
that's part of what they put all their equipment on there. You're leasing their equipment basically. There is more details to it, but we can certainly look into that. And I have the numbers
Or
for these
maybe
guys.
maybe it can be a piggyback question. It's also when the negotiation was, and I'm not going to say that they were like debating it in the State House. It was a negotiation between the Public Utility Service and the utility companies and the legislature. There are vested interests who don't want to have large independent generators distributed throughout the state and control of local people. So that's why you only have an ability to do 10% or 20% above your theoretical maximum. And also at first, it was only blood residential, and then there was a change made a year or two afterwards that permitted commercial uses to do that. So, I mean, think about, I'm over my 3 minutes, excuse me. But think about all of the Walmart roofs out there.
Yeah.
All of the big box roofs.
And you're absolutely correct. They do have a way to mount these on the surface without penetrating, because they do a lot of them on brownfields, old
Yeah,
roofs.
I'm sure the one that I keep passing, it's on an old orchard. I'm sure there was funky stuff over there in Massachusetts.
Yep.
But it was very noticeable the other day because of the way the time of day or whatever, the leaves were down, and then you see it, and it's quite big. Anyway, that's...
Well, what I'll do is I'll set up a presentation from a couple of these guys to come in here to the town board maybe in January, once we get past the holidays and the end of the year, and see if we can't have them come in and present something to us.
So my third thing that I wanted to mention was I did send an email to Tammy, who I do want to congratulate and thank for all the work she does, because I believe that the dinner at the election day thing is an essential event. But I sent a letter to her in relation to the ZBA and my position on the ZBA, because I felt I was on it because my schedule is becoming somewhat more erratic, such that like on the 10th, I had planned to be here, but I found out that yesterday that I needed to be in a recording studio. So I said to them that I didn't feel that I was being, my attendance was sufficient, and that somebody else maybe could be more effective. So I said I was willing to resign, and I haven't sent the formal letter of resignation to you, but I did sort of resign to the board, ZBA. So I'll send a letter to you if you're, although I believe there are other cases, and I thought that the whole discussion on how the pay reductions and numbers of meetings was in an effort to discourage absence.
It was, yes, correct. We would like to have as much attendance as possible, opposite meetings.
So that's why I'm letting you know that that's the reason that I'm doing it.
Okay, all right, fair enough. If you could just give an official letter to Mary,
I'll email
if
her
you
later.
could, at some point, or email or something. That'd be fine.
Thank you for the extension of my time.
Well, thank you, and thank you for your service on the zoning board.
Thank you.
Okay, and before we close this meeting, we now have an opening on our zoning board, so anybody that would be interested,
Well, we may have an opening. He hasn't said-
we may have an opening on our zoning board. So anybody that's interested, please keep that in mind. Possibly let us know if you're interested, and if the vacancy does become open, we will certainly get back to you and let you know. Okay, any other comments, questions, public comment? Anything from the board? Motion to adjourn?
Just one thing I forgot to say when I was talking about the fire companies, and when you mentioned county stuff, the county was there also. They were spreading salt because that was a cold day, and they didn't want to have a slippery road, so there was quite a bit of cooperation, not just with fire companies, but the county as well. So,
Excellent.
move to adjourn.
Motion. Second, all in favor? Happy holidays, everybody. Thank you.
You made that motion?
Bob made the
And
motion,
you?
I second.
Okay.